What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I just finished writing the article on SmashJT.com. Is the Super Mario Bros. Movie the beginning of the Nintendo-verse? Yeah, I went there. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is blowing doors at the box office. It now is the highest grossing film on opening weekend for an animated picture ever, beating Frozen 2. The previous leader at $358 million in the first weekend. Super Mario Bros., according to Stealth on Twitter, is a projected $368 million, $10 million more on opening weekend. And the movie hasn't even launched in Japan yet. That's kind of a big hit. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell for notifications, and check out SmashJT.com. I've started blogging again, got a whole bunch of articles out there, and yeah, anyways, the Super Mario Bros. Movie released April 2023. I saw it on launch day with my kids. We loved it. I made a video talking about my reaction, initial feelings about it, completely spoiler free. If you haven't seen it yet, you're in the minority, but yes, check it out. I think you'll enjoy that. It's already making waves around the world of animated films. This is the highest grossing film ever for animated films on opening weekend. And it may be because they got an all-star cast that actually ended up working out pretty well. Chris Pratt wasn't so bad after all. And Bowser, Jack Black, carried it. Like, so talented. He is incredible. The movie is a fun, entertaining romp through the Mushroom Kingdom. And it's a pretty thin storyline, but what do you expect going into a Mario movie? It was enjoyable for what it was. And if that doesn't scream potential for a future, I don't know what does. Like I said, it's a thin storyline. And it has the highest grossing opening weekend at the box office for an animated film ever. So, Nintendo has a couple different directions they could go with this. One, they're definitely not done with movies. If this is as good as the first one does, with their partnership with Illumination, ignoring the 1993 Mario Bros. Movie, which I still love. I know I'm in the minority of that one, but Nintendo's tried. They've dipped their toes in the theaters previously, and it hadn't really worked out for them. So, understandably, they were very hesitant to get back into that realm. They finally found the match made in heaven with Illumination and all these voice actors that they put together for it. And now they have a hit on their hands. What directions could they go with this? Next step. After the Super Mario Bros. Movie, obviously the next obvious thing to do, Super Mario Bros. 2 movie. And incorporate even more tidbits from Doki Doki Panic and the whole school Mario 2 stuff alongside what they built in the kingdom in the Super Mario Bros. Movie and moving forward with that. Obvious next step. Yes. What else could they do, though? Well, they're not handcuffed to Super Mario Brothers. Those of you who are familiar with Nintendo would know that they have a ton of IPs that are gigantic. Legend of Zelda comes to mind. Metroid, another big one that I am personally a huge fan of. Pikmin, a little bit less, but still a popular movie. Potential with that. Star Fox, Kirby, Donkey Kong. And all these things come together with the potential syncing up, just like the comic book industry with Marvel and DC and the cinematic universe that they did with the Marvel verse, the Spider-Verse, the DC verse, where they all came together and made movies at the end where all their characters were in a movie together. The next logical step of evolution, way down the road, we're talking like 5, 6, 7 years down the road from now, maybe a decade from now, maybe longer, who knows how long they're going to stretch it out. But there is a potential for Nintendo to start progress on the next movie that they want to work on right now, if they haven't already, which knowing Nintendo, they probably already did that midway through the Mario Brothers movie. But now, if they're working on a movie, they haven't unveiled it yet, what could it be? I was thinking a lot about this, and the first thing that comes to mind is Tears of the Kingdom is coming out very soon. Like, what is it? A month? And wouldn't it be something if Nintendo were to not have a trailer ready for the Zelda movie, but the same time frame that Tears of the Kingdom comes out, take advantage of that maximum hype level, and during a Nintendo Direct going over Tears of the Kingdom, at the very end of that Direct that really dives into it, to, you know, how they hype up their games, have a section where they're like, oh, one more thing. We are partnering with Illumination to work on a Legend of Zelda movie. Like, could you imagine the reactions from people when and if that happened? And the same thing can be said for Metroid, which who knows when and if Metroid 4 will ever release, hopefully sooner than later. But the development hell that that's been in, I don't know. Earliest hopes for it would be sometime in 2024. Wow, what is that, 5 years since they first announced they were working on it? Maybe more? I don't even know. Was it 2019, 2018? It's been a long time. But just think about if Nintendo took that opportunity to announce at the end of that Direct in 2024, before the Zelda movie even comes out, that they are now working on a Metroid movie, and the Zelda movie will be coming out shortly. Like, the congruence, the parallel working on games and partnership with Illumination, just driving the hype train for their IPs forward. It makes perfect business sense. And if Super Mario Bros. Movie rapid success out of the gate is any indication, Nintendo would be completely moronic to not go this direction. But that's Nintendo being Nintendo, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that they just don't make another movie again, too, for a very long time. Who knows? Who knows? But the potential of the excitement from these is enough to get me hyped up. So I wrote this article, I put it together. There was an image from What Now Nerds showing off the potential time frames for the Nintendo cinematic universe, where 2024, Zelda and Metroid come out. In 2025, Star Fox and Kirby come out. 2026, Donkey Kong, and then leading up to Smash Brothers, which is basically the Infinity War version of the video game, where all these characters from all these different series come together in one movie. That would be really insane. Like, the kid in me would just explode. And I don't see how it doesn't get to that point. It's just a matter of when, not if, in my mind. Like, I couldn't imagine Nintendo not going down this road. But first things first, we need to figure out what Nintendo plans to do after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. If they're gonna start diving into other franchises, how they're even gonna play out. First off, the Zelda with Illumination, I guess I could see it. I mean, Zelda's a colorful enough game, and yeah. Metroid, that's a dark and gloomy one. I don't know how they'd handle that. They'd have to keep it PG, you would think, but that's more of a PG-13 style of movie, and along the lines of like Aliens, which I believe it was based off of from the very start of it, or borrowed a lot of, you know, sci-fi stuff from that movie when the original Metroid came out. So it would make sense to make it more adult themed, but then that gets away from the Nintendo, you know, Disney, Mickey Mouse, happy versions of everything. So that one's an interesting one. I don't know how Nintendo would handle Metroid. I mean, it's happening, okay, in my mind. It's just a matter of when, not if. And when it does happen, I'd be fascinated to see how they tackle that. Star Fox would be another fun one. The characters are basically made for Illumination animation. So yeah, Star Fox would be a really fun one with them. Kirby as well. Donkey Kong, as we already saw in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Illumination can handle that. And I mean, talking about like Pikmin and I mean, there's so many IPs, Splatoon from Nintendo, where they could go into and have their own movie universe for each IP, and then have them all come together, and then have them break apart, just like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is about to come out, and that's after Infinity War. So you can have them all lead up to this big movie as Smash Brothers, and it doesn't have to end there. They can keep making their own movies, and this can go on forever. That's pretty exciting. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the potential Nintendo-verse coming out of the blowing doors of Super Mario Brothers at the box office opening weekend. Fully deserving, by the way, in my opinion. Fantastic, entertaining movie. Could have been a lot deeper, but who cares? It was fun, it was funny, and I enjoyed it. My kids loved it. And most people outside of the professional critics out there had a great time watching the movie. And I'm glad. I'm really happy that it went over so well, because it does open up the doors now for this potential world of the Nintendo-verse. Those are my thoughts on it. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about the Nintendo-verse, what movies you would really look forward to seeing, the voice actors in them, if you want to go that far. I haven't even thought about that kind of stuff, but if Chris Pratt is any indication, I can be pleasantly surprised that things can work, even though I didn't think they would. Jack Black was a shoo-in for being a successful voice actor as Bowser, but there's a lot of ifs and what ifs, and I don't know how this is going to work. So interested to hear what you guys have to say about the voice acting, the storylines, what movie you'd want to see the most. Let me know in the comments below. Check out the story on smashjt.com if you want more info on this. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash,